Have you guys ever felt really satisfied after venting or telling people about your problems? I mean, I know for me personally, well, it's not one of my favorite things to do, but it is pretty satisfying. Like letting people know what you're going through, letting people know your problems, and then, sometimes they feel sorry for you, sometimes they don't, but there's something about letting go of that particular part of ourselves and being vulnerable and letting people know that we're going through something that is just, it's subconsciously satisfying. I don't think we necessarily feel it in the moment. Well, actually we do feel it, but we don't recognize what we're doing is actually really helping us in a way. Well, not really helping us. I'm gonna say now why it's not really helping us, but just keep up with me here because I've got an interesting word for us today, something that I just thought about, and it's on the topic of speaking to people about our issues and victimhood and the victim mentality sort of thing. But I feel like sometimes people speak about that from a psychological perspective, which is absolutely fine and well. I mean, it makes sense, but I wanted to speak about it from a faith perspective. And what does the Bible say about speaking about our problems with other people? Because surely it can't be that bad, right? I mean, let's find out. We're first gonna go to, I think it was Philippians. Let me find it. No, Proverbs, sorry. We're at Proverbs 29 verse 11. This is going to start us off nicely. It reads, "Fools give full vent to their rage, but the wise bring calm in the end." Now, what does this mean for us as believers? Well, it's very easy to speak about our problems with other people and to let them know what we're going through, because at the end of the day, if they feel sorry for us, well, we might not know that they feel sorry for us, but whatever they feel after we tell them about that, it doesn't really matter to us because it makes us feel better. I mean, if I won't say I have anger issues, but it is something that I'm trying to control. But if you easily get mad, sometimes it's very relieving to let that anger out. But why does the Bible say that it's foolish? Why does it say that it's not something wise to do? Well, I think because there's someone who is above our thoughts. There's someone who thinks on a different level, in a different perspective than us, that we'll never really truly understand. But I ask myself all the time, if I'm going to speak about my problems with other people who most of the time can't even really solve the problem, why don't I speak to the creator of all things about my problems, and maybe he'll help me with them. There's another scripture that I'm going to lead us into that will hopefully help us visualize this a bit better. So this is Philippians 4 verse 6 to 7. This is a beautiful verse. "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your request to God, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Jesus Christ." I want to ask, how much peace does it bring you when you actually tell people about your issues or you vent to them? How much peace does that actually bring you in the long run? This is what I was trying to get to this whole time, is that temporarily it's very easy to tell people about our issues, and maybe we'll feel like a slight satisfaction in the beginning, but then that ends up dying down, and then the problem that we're actually in, the situation that we're actually faced with, it doesn't end up getting solved. It doesn't end up getting remedied or cured. Why? Because we are seeking our satisfaction, we are seeking relief, we are seeking curing and guidance from the flesh, from that feeling that we feel from telling other people about our problems. We are seeking to be helped by our flesh, which isn't necessarily, it's not really sustainable. If you instead, that energy that you use to tell other people about your problems, if you instead tell God about that, how much more better do you think you'd feel in the moment and in the long run? So you get best of both worlds, really, if you actually seek God out and you speak to Him about your issues. I think there's one more verse that I want to really touch on that's gonna take this verse home, because this is what actually ended up changing my life and changing my perspective on telling people about my problems and telling people about certain things that are going on in my life. This is 2 Corinthians 4 verse 17, and it reads, "For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but what is unseen, since what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal." The thing about God is His peace, His mercy, His guidance, and His confidence, and His encouragement that He gives us, all of these fruits that He gives us, it's eternal. It's out of time and space. It's out of our fleshly desires and the things that we may or may not feel. God's gifts for us, they last more than a lifetime. And the things that we feel on this earth, the temporary satisfactions, like the word says, it's temporary. The satisfaction that you feel from telling people about your issues and them maybe feeling sorry for you, that victimhood mentality, or whatever that we may call it here on the earth, it doesn't really, that satisfaction doesn't last long. And I know you probably noticed that as well. You'll tell people about your problems, it'll be nice in the moment because they feel sorry for you. And then afterwards, then what? Then what are you left with? You're left with that problem again. But with God, after telling Him your problems, what are you left with? You're left with peace that surpasses all understanding. You're left with an encouragement and a motivation that God has a plan for you, and that this feeling that you're feeling, this problem, is temporary. And God will end up solving it, and God will end up fixing it for you. I don't want to make this message too long. If you feel the need to always tell people about your issues, try and tell God first. Try and seek Him out. Try and tell Him about your issue before telling other people, and see how much better you feel afterwards. And see in the long run how that problem actually ends up being solved. Because the Creator of all things, He has plans to prosper you, not to harm you. All the fear, all the anxiety, all the troubles and the worry and the doubts, that doesn't come from God. What comes from God is the fruits of the Spirit: love, peace, joy, kindness, happiness, fulfillment, all those things. I know there's more, but you get the picture. Try and confide in Him first. See how much better things turn out. I promise. Hope you have a good day.